Welcome to the Health KPI podcast, formerly known as the Burnout Expert podcast. In episode 1 to 35, we focused on stress from a burnout perspective, featuring solo episodes and interviews. Interestingly, during every burnout interview, none of the individuals realized they were experiencing burnout. Not one realized they were experiencing burnout until they were already on the path to recovery. So now, starting from episode 36 on, we are changing our approach, changing our name, and looking through the lens of performance. I will begin with solo episodes where I'll teach you how to track essential health data, eliminate guesswork, and save you time and money while enhancing your performance. It is time to take tangible progress in improving your sleep, energy, focus, and moods, which will ultimately boost your productivity, performance, and leadership capabilities in both your career and your home life with your family. Every episode will be beneficial to you. So let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to episode 27 of the Burnout Expert podcast. Now, there is a link between constant colds, allergies, nagging injuries that comes into play a lot with long-term stress. And this is because we actually have two different healing systems. We have one for our stressed state and one for our resting state. So I've come to realize that many of my clients actually were unaware of this. So when we're speaking of burnout and we're speaking about how like colds and flus and allergies, like you may not have had hay fever and all of a sudden hay fever is hitting you through the roof. You may not have had sinus infections and all of a sudden you're getting those. You may get nagging injuries in the gym all of a sudden and or just plagued with like cholesterol and blood pressure and a big one, blood pressure issues and all of that with burnout. And what a lot of my clients didn't realize and they found very fascinating was when they learned about these two different systems, these two different healing systems and why this happens. And so I thought that it would interest you guys as well. So that is what we're going to dive into today. So also you heard in the last episode where Phillipa talked about she lost the sight in one eye until she got rid of these stressors. So I thought that this would be just phenomenal for you guys to learn. Now, when I have clients coming to me with long-term stress, I usually just go through the list and try to see like how many of these do they have, even autoimmune diseases. And so the difference is we have these two systems and they're created healing systems. They're created for a reason. The stressed healing system is created for injuries that may pop up when you are in that fight, when you are fighting or fleeing, when you're being chased by that lion, chased by that bear. If you get slashed, your blood vessels are going to constrict and they're going to decrease the amount that you bleed out. This healing system is in place to protect you and so that you can continue to fight that fight for the amount of time that you need to fight it. That is where if foreign bodies come into your body, foreign substances, so toxins, pollen, so we will use pollen, or even allergens, we'll talk about like peanuts or different things that start irritating people's gut, like gluten. Some people now, they were fine with gluten and then they weren't, right? So all of these things, our body, when they're foreign substances, that's what I was looking for. Whenever they have these foreign substances in our bodies that our body doesn't recognize, they go on the attack when we're in a stressed state. Like, ooh, pollen's in here. I need to attack. And that's where like you get swelling and inflammation and you're stuffed up, your eyes might get gooey, and you may start coughing, sneezing. All of these things start happening because your body is trying to get that pollen out fast. It's trying to eliminate it. It's attacking it. We get all of these systems in our body that just attack and attack and attack. And that is our stressed state. Our resting state is when it actually relaxes the blood a little bit, gets it flowing more, so it can start cleaning out the wound, cleaning out the area. Our lymphatic system starts cleaning out, it starts moving more so that it can clear out the junk, the inflammation, the pollens, the dust, the peanut allergy, like all of the stuff that is irritating or telling the foreign bodies in that we have ingested, any toxins, synthetic fragrances, all of these things. It is when it goes into its resting stage, the resting stage is there to like clear things out and heal and repair. You don't need to clear things out when you're in the fight, right? You're not worried about long-term infections when you're in the fight. So it's a different healing system that comes into play when you're stressed all the time, when you're in that stressed state versus in the relaxed state. Your body is not able to heal and repair because it's actually in that acute stage of, ooh, we need to protect this right now for the moment. That's where we get so many blood pressure issues. We get these healing and repairing issues. Autoimmune diseases is quite often pop up because of this as well. So let's just dive into some other ways that both of these systems work. So the way that they're activated, the stressed, as we said, is activated during times of stress, danger, threats, where the triggering the body, the fight or flight response. Now, remember, we've spoke about in past episodes too, that your body cannot determine between opening an email and being stressed by it, or thinking about a financial stress versus actually physically being in a fight, actually needing a wound repaired, like a major car accident or something where you need to have that triage stressed state in hand. Your body doesn't know the difference, so it keeps kicking it in for every little stress, pollen, all that stuff that starts hitting at you. And then the resting system, it's activated when our body is in a relaxed state, where we're feeling safe, where we're calm, where our vagus nerve, our resting nerve, is kicking in. So we're digesting food. We're able to absorb minerals and nutrients into our body, which is why too we struggle to absorb minerals and nutrients when we're constantly in a stressed state. Now, physiologically in our body, the stressed healing system, it increases your heart rate, elevates your blood pressure, heightens your alertness, releases stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, all of those, just pumping them into your body and getting that blood flowing and blood pumping and getting you ready for the fight. The resting system, it slows down your heart rate. It reduces blood pressure. It's relaxing your muscles, and it's decreasing your stress hormone levels so your body can heal and repair. And then our focus. When our stressed acute healing system is active, we have our attention and our focus are solely on immediate survival. So we're thinking just of threats. But our resting system is focusing on our internal body processes, on our self-regulation and repairing mechanisms. So we can heal and repair. We can, our cholesterol, our blood pressure, our gallbladder, our liver, it can all like help with all the toxins and the bile duct and break down food, and our body can do what it's designed to do. From an inflammation standpoint, the stressed healing system, it actually increases inflammation, histamines, allergens, and so it struggles to heal long-term because it's feeling like there's an active threat on that injury. So you may find that like cuts don't heal the way that they used to and stuff. That's because your body is constantly trying to like heal it now as if you're in the fight instead of the long term. So the inflammation, when you're resting, it actually promotes this anti-inflammatory. Actually, as I was saying, your lymphatic system kicks in and starts starts pulling all of the gunk and the toxins and the inflammation away from there. And it lets the blood slowly come in and give more red blood cells and healing and repairing and oxygen into the areas that need the support to heal, repair, and regenerate. Emotionally, when that stressed acute healing system, it gives you this anxiety, fear, heightened vigilance. You need that heightened vigilance when you are in the middle of a crisis, because you need to really be cognizant of all of the threats that are around you. But when you're in your resting system, you can be calm and relaxed. You get this overall well-being, and it allows this emotional healing and stability to happen. Just going into PTSD as well, when you cannot get into that healing, that calmer vagus nerve system, then we do struggle to heal from traumas physically and mentally. And so if you are constantly living in that stress state where your body is always into that stress, then traumas will hit you harder physically and mentally than if your body is not living in that stress state all of the time. And this is when we get that chronic stress that really starts affecting your health. I mean, I have clients with blood pressure, blood clot issues. I have clients with autoimmune diseases. I have clients with major IBS and gut issues. As we heard from Phillipa, I mean, her eye went. And if we start diving into the visual as well, there are certain times as well when you are in a trauma that your body will actually shut down your sight to protect you from what you are seeing. There's studies that go into, it's in the book by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman on combat. And on combat, I'm just writing that down so I can put it in the show notes. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman on combat. In that book, he does dive into actually in a stress state, what happens in combat. And it will happen when they're on combat. For some, when they are shooting their weapon, they actually lose their hearing goes briefly, and some even the sight. So these are all things from your active stress response system kicking in. That book is really fascinating for you to start seeing, like, it's extreme because it's talking about on combat, all the things that can happen in war and in first responder worlds. 911, it dives into that as well, on things that happened. Like in 911, many firefighters and many of the civilians lost their load, so to say. They pooed their pants. And this is an immediate stress response. And he dives into all of this. So all of the stressors that may occur when you're in that immediate stress system that we're talking about. We're just focusing on the inflammation at the moment, but all of these really do start to affect you. And then they start to affect all kinds of things in your health. The amount of gallbladders that I've heard of issues with gallbladders and gallbladders being taken out. And a lot of that is when you're in short-term stress, your gut is slowing down. It starts actually affecting your liver, which then affects your gallbladder. So taking the gallbladder out does not make the initial problem go away that caused it, and does not, and then the job that the gallbladder did do, it's not able to do anymore. That any of you who have gotten to that stage from your acute inflammation system, your healing, repairing system, not being able to manage your gallbladder well, that you did get your gallbladder out, definitely highly, highly, highly recommend that that you do go to a naturopathic functional practitioner, naturopathic doctor, holistic practitioner that is well-versed in gallbladders, that can start getting you on some supplementation to help with like the bile acids and stuff that the gallbladder is responsible for. So you get all of these health issues, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, just all kinds of things. They start worsening when we are living in this stress state and living in this healing and inflammation. So that is why a lot of these symptoms are symptoms of burnout, because when you're in burnout, you've been living in a stress state for a very, very long time. And you've been switched into, when that nervous system is so strong, you're switching into that stressed inflammation system or healing system, which is great when you literally are fighting the lion or the bear, or you are in a major accident. But it is not helpful long-term for the health and healing of your body. So if you would like help on working on this, as I said, like the very first thing that I do with clients is get you to start moving out of that nervous system, out of your stress nerve, and moving you more into your resting nerve. Hugely important in order to get you out of that stress state as often. Then I usually start diving into sleep, which I was mentioning in the last episode, in the 2 episodes ago, in episode 25. And then we start diving into all of your other stressors in order to be getting you stronger, improving your energies, your moods, your focus, your healing and repairing, and a lot of the health issues that are attributed from burnout. All right. Any questions? Definitely let me know. If you could please like and subscribe this podcast, tell a friend, share a post from our social media onto yours would be hugely helpful in getting more of the word out about this podcast. The more likes and subscribes that we do get, the more people are shown then our podcast and have access to it. So we'd really, really appreciate that. Any of you want to find out about working with me, I do have 15-minute calls booked down below. You can grab my calendar link in the show notes and book that 15-minute call. We can start an initial. And if it does look like we would be a good fit to work together, then I will give you a free session in order to really see what it's like to work with me. And then after that, we just continue on with individual sessions as we deem is needed when we set that initial consultation. So it's pretty easy and simple to work with me. I do only have a few spots available though. So just giving you a heads up on that. I haven't started a wait list yet. Once those 2 spots are full, then I will be moving on to a wait list. Again, that link is in the show notes below. And keep your heads up. Burnout is an absolute beast and you are not in this alone anymore. I've got your back and I will see you in the next episode.